Republican Senator Ted Cruz may have just killed one of the last campaign finance protections that we had here in the United States. Now, this is a case that I've actually talked about way back in the day, not too far back, but we discussed it back then as the potential to really kill limits on campaign finance laws. And yesterday, the Supreme Court ruled in a 6-3 decision, right down party lines, that you can now loan yourself unlimited amounts of money to your campaign and get fully reimbursed for every penny that you give to that campaign. Now, prior to Ted Cruz's lawsuit, that limit was $250,000, which means if you lent your campaign $250,000 or less, the campaign, through their own funds, could pay you back the full amount. If you donated or lent your campaign, say, $260,000, like Ted Cruz did, you'd lose $10,000 on that deal under the way the campaign finance laws were written. Well, Ted Cruz knew that, by the way, so the day before his 2018 election against Beto O'Rourke, or excuse me, it was 2016, I believe it was, I'm sorry. All these elections run together at this tune. But anyway, the day before the election, lends his campaign $260,000. Then immediately after he wins, files this lawsuit saying, I want all my money back. I want that extra $10,000. It's unfair. It's limiting my right to free speech. And all along the way, the courts agreed with him. Until, of course, yesterday, the United States Supreme Court said, yep, Cruz is right. We're getting rid of these limits. You can now loan yourself as much money as you want, and as long as your campaign has the funds, they can pay you back. So here's what this does to democracy here in the United States. It hands it over to the super rich. Imagine for a moment a guy like Donald Trump, who at one point when he was running for president said, maybe I'll loan myself $1 billion. I don't care, I'll spend as much as it takes. He could actually do that now. And as long as his campaign or his political action committee had the money, could pay himself all of it back. He could get every dime back. Whereas somebody running for office for the first time, working just a middle-class job maybe, they can't loan their campaigns any money. They can't benefit from this repealing of this law. So their free speech is already limited because they don't have the money to speak as loud as the other people. That's what the Supreme Court gets wrong. And of course they get it wrong because they're conservatives. It's their job to get things wrong. This is not about allowing people to have freedom of speech. This is about letting the ultra wealthy have more speech than the rest of us. That is not equality. That is tyranny. And that is what we are headed towards thanks to Ted Cruz's little lawsuit here that destroyed one of the last election campaign finance protections that we had in this country. And Cruz did it intentionally. He didn't have to loan his campaign $260,000. He could have just done $250,000. I don't think that $10,000 the day before the election made a big difference. But he did it so he could challenge it, so he could overturn it. That was the point from the beginning. And he won. Ted Cruz won. Millionaires and billionaires are celebrating this victory because they know now they can run for office, they can lend themselves as much money as they want, and they're pretty much guaranteed to get every dime of it back. That is how we move into this autocracy and fully away from the democracy that up until yesterday it looked like we kind of had. Not anymore. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is? For years, this crime's rate has been surging and affecting millions of Americans. I'm talking, of course, about identity theft, and it happens to 1 in 20 Americans. Yet, despite this, those who have had their identity stolen are often shocked when it happens. Imagine trying to log into your email account one day only to see that the password had been changed hours ago. Then you start getting notifications of activity from your bank, credit cards, crypto accounts. That's when the feelings of panic, fear, anxiety, paranoia, disbelief, shock, and anger and frustration and guilt start to set in. That's why I am excited to partner with Aura, who is sponsoring this video. Aura is identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software all combined into one easy-to-use app. Aura monitors the dark web for your emails, passwords, and social security numbers and sends alerts fast, right to your phone and email. When it comes to fraud, every second matters. Connect your credit and bank accounts and get notified of any changes up to 4 times faster than Aura's competitors. Their VPN allows you to stay anonymous online by keeping your browsing history and personal information safe and encrypted. And their antivirus software that will block malware and viruses before they infect your devices is absolutely vital. I've been using Aura to protect my personal information, and it couldn't be easier. Setup literally just takes a couple of minutes, and you can link all of your financial accounts for monitoring to protect you. As someone that's had their personal banking information stolen several times in the past, I can't stress enough how important this service is and how great it is to have the peace of mind that Aura brings. So protect yourself and your family from America's fastest growing crime. Try Aura free for 2 weeks and see if any of you and your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial today at aura.com/ROF.